smells green in here.
It's only gonna get greener. Hi, I'm Phil. Welcome to Pretty Good Cooking.
Pretty good.
It's a Saturday episode. I'm watching Arthur 2, so no nonsense today. Well, you know, just a small amount of nonsense. Today we're making a brunch meal, because it is brunch time. We're gonna make green shakshuka. Is it authentic? No. Where does it come from? I have no idea. But we made red shakshuka, also known as shakshuka, here many moons ago. Okay, so I've got a skillet here, and I am using a non-stick. It's about a 10-inch skillet. I'm gonna heat up some olive oil, and our first green today is gonna be Brussels sprouts. Here are the Brussels sprouts. I measured out around 8 ounces of Brussels, which we will trim up, and we're gonna wash them too. I'm cleaning the Brussels. I'm chopping off the bottom part, just cleaning them up. You can also shave them if you're into that. So I'm gonna keep doing that until it's done. Almost done, we'll be right back. Okay, so visually, this is what about 8 ounces of shredded Brussels sprouts look like. Shredded Brussels sprouts are quite good. You can make them into like warm salads or even cold salads. You can do this as like a coleslaw thing. So we are going to start by sauteing the Brussels. The Brussels are going to be like the firmest green that we're using today, so it needs to cook the longest. And if you do this at a slightly high heat, you should get a little bit of char on them. I'm going to salt it a little bit, draw out some of the moisture. I didn't completely dry them, so there's already moisture on them, but there's also moisture in them. That's why we salt them. So we're just gonna toss that around in the pan and cook it up. And if you leave it be for a little bit at a time, you should be able to get some char. Next veggie is gonna be kale. That's right, kale. A lot of people don't like kale. It's a bad rap, but kale is quite delicious if you know how to cook it. And certainly I think that a sauteed kale is probably one of the nicer ways to eat it. So what I'm doing is I'm ripping the kale from the ribs, which sounds, you know, much more intense than it actually is. If someone ripped you from your ribs, then you'd be in a world of pain. All right. This dish is truly, it just doubles down on that, you know, greens shrink when you cook them. So I do think we'll actually be able to get all these things in the pan. It's just gonna be a little bit of a process. There's our kale. So you can see I'm starting to get just a little bit of browning on some of the pieces of the Brussels, which will add to the flavor. I ordered a shallot in a grocery delivery, and this is what they gave me. But they're sold by weight, but I just thought it was funny. I got what a ridiculously small shallot. So I'm gonna mince that up. You could certainly use a red onion. I think shallot will taste nice today. So you do you with how you mince these. You can mince them fine, mix them poorly. Do what you want. I'm just gonna go ahead and pop these in. This is a trimmed leek, so I bought it trimmed this way. Leeks always got crud in them like that. Sand, dirt, whatever. So I'm really just gonna use the kind of like the onion part today. Might save the other part for stock. But here's what we have, and you can see that it's very tight in here, so there's no dirt. Looks clean. So I sliced that in half, and then I'm just gonna do super thin slices. This will give us a depth of onion flavor. I'm trying really hard to not take my eye off of chopping. You know, I'm living the young father life, so I am tired all of the time. I'm super paranoid I'm going to lose a finger in this process, which is why I'm not giving as much eye contact as I normally would. Okay, let's do some garlic. Here's the garlic. 3 cloves today. Okay, I would say that our Brussels probably been going about 5 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. So a lot of this is going to be done at relatively low heat, I'd say. You can see with some of these Brussels have some very nice caramelization. That is good. That will taste really nice. It's not burnt. It's gonna taste very nice. Okay, so we're gonna work our kale in, and what I'm gonna try to do is move some of this to the side to keep cooking, but kale will seriously wilt. And you're probably gonna have to do this in batches, which is okay, because you know we're gonna add some liquid at some point and it'll cook down. So basically I'm gonna add some kale a little bit at a time and let it reduce in size until I can fit more kale in there. Be right back. All right, so I'm working on my kale. I'm getting some good wilting, but I think that I want to add a little bit more oil. And I just think that'll facilitate the wilting a little bit better, or a little bit more quickly. So I'm just gonna do a splash of oil on this side and keep working my kale in. Smells nice. So almost done with the kale. We'll be back soon. Okay, so we wilted our kale in. I'm actually amazed that we actually got it all in there, but there it is. Probably would have made sense in retrospect to chop some of this kale up a bit more than what it is, but that'll just be fun for us to eat later. So check this out. We still have room in the pan. So what are we gonna do? More greens. This time it's gonna be spinach. Now spinach just like completely vanishes when you wilt it. So I'm literally gonna use all the spinach in here. And the same process, we let this wilt a bit, but because we are now at a level where we have a decent amount of volume in the pan, we can start spicing this as well. So we are gonna borrow some of the like typical shakshuka flavors, which would be cumin. Cumin's probably the most pronounced. And I'll also make the comment now that I'm gonna be a little bit light on the spice because we're gonna add harissa. And the harissa has all of the spices that we would otherwise put in here. But if you don't have the harissa, then you know you can spice it up a little bit more. This is Mina Harissa Spicy Moroccan Green Pepper Sauce. It's made with green chili peppers and green bell peppers. So this will make the dish spicy. There is a heat element, but this is less spicy than the red stuff. If you want to learn how to make red harissa, also known as harissa, click here. Alright, so we added some cumin, we added some harissa. You could add a little coriander if you wanted to. I'm going to skip that. I don't think we need it. And then another thing you could add would be Aleppo Pepper, which is this stuff. I am gonna skip adding it to the dish because we added the full harissa, so it's already spicy enough. But I might garnish the end with a little bit to make the thumbnail look better. Okay, so we have wilted all of these greens. Isn't that incredible? We fit all of those greens into one pan. I think it's incredible. We're looking nice and green and healthy. So I'm gonna add a little bit more salt, and then we're gonna add half the juice of a lemon. And a lot of times when I'm just squeezing half a lemon, I let it run through my fingers to act as a strainer for the seeds. And I saved us 4 seeds. And in addition to that, we're gonna add a half cup of water, dry measure. So the purpose of that is for us to have a little bit of more of like a, I don't want to say soggy texture, but like it's just gonna help everything kind of come together a little bit. So we're gonna let this cook just a little bit, but I'm gonna go ahead and pop a lid on here and let that steam briefly. So just a couple minutes there, I'm gonna clean up real quick and then we can actually finish up the dish. We're almost done. Okay, so we are gonna make some wells for the eggs. And unlike typical shakshuka where you are roasting the whole thing, we're just gonna steam the eggs in the mixture. I think that'll be just fine for what we're doing. So we're gonna make 4 wells. And your call on this one, but I'm gonna add a drop of oil into each of the wells because I think that will make it easier for us to get the eggs out. But that's, you don't have to do that. So egg 1, egg 2, egg 3, and 4. Then we pop the lid on and let the eggs steam. It should take about 4 or 5 minutes, so I'm gonna set a timer just to check. And then I'm gonna pop outside and grab some parsley from my garden. Okay, so we've got a couple of garnishes. I chopped some parsley from the garden and a green onion. So this green thing will be garnished with more green. And then you can top this with feta. I think feta would be pretty nice, but I actually have queso fresco. I think that'll be just as nice. So here's our queso fresco, which I'm gonna use a fork to shred it up. For this dish, we're gonna serve it with bread. Eat this with bread. You can do pita, you can do crunchy or crusty bread. And it is nice to warm it up. I might throw some pita in the microwave. And I'm not gonna apologize for that. It's fine. That's warm pita. All right, we're at 3.5 minutes. Let's take a peek. Eggs are looking.
Egg looks weird.
Well, it is steamed. Yeah, okay, so we're still pretty runny, which is fine. I'm gonna let it go just about a minute longer. I do like a runny egg. I'm not worried about it being fully cooked. So I think just another minute will do us. Then we will serve it up. Let it microwave the pita. Definitely done. And just look at the aesthetics. The green turns brown. The eggs look weird. But actually this will be quite tasty. Don't worry about it. Don't you worry. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and cheese it up straight away. I'm gonna cheese it up, and then our garnish of parsley and green onions, and that really does actually make it look a lot better, I think. Okay, let's serve it up. So we are gonna grab a section out of the greens, focusing on the egg. Doing this left-handed for some reason. So there's our egg and such. At this point, it looks like a pile of greens, but we can dress it up, make it look a little bit nicer. So one of the things we'll do, sprinkle of Aleppo pepper. I have some pickled onions, which I think make everything look nice. Do that on the side. Lemon slice, a little bit of pepper. And that is how we will plate today. But we can do a little bit more cheese too. I think that looks pretty nice. All right, so let's see if I overcooked the eggs. Absolutely, sure did. So you probably want it runnier than that, but that's okay. I was also taking care of a child, so perfect execution, no. Will it taste good? Probably. It's great. It tastes like preposterously healthy. Maybe too healthy. And it's really not even that spicy. So I would definitely be comfortable with a big blob of Harissa over the top. But I really like it. It actually does share a lot of the flavors that I would associate with typical shakshuka. But, you know, instead of a big acidic pile of tomatoes, it's like eating a Cumin salad. I just wish I didn't overcook the egg. Oh well. Well, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't know what else to say. I guess that's how you do it. If you like what we're doing, no further action required at this time. God bless you. We will God bless you and your family. We'll see you next time on PGC. And I'ma eat this. Okay, bye.